Want to add embedded recordings like this into your app without having to pay a senior developer Lambo money? Well, then this video is for you. Today I'm going to show you how to add embedded video into your app using Velt SDK. They say it's so easy that even your intern could do it, so hopefully I, the marketing guy, can do it too. So the first thing you need to do is create your development environment with an index.html file, a key file, and a CSS file. Actually, you don't even need a CSS file. I just want my app to have Hello Kitty on it. The next thing you're gonna need to do is sign into the Velt developer console, get your API key, and whitelist your domain. I'm only gonna be using localhost because I don't know how to deploy to prod. Remember, I am just the marketing guy. Now to actually start coding. The first thing we need to do is add the script that actually loads Velt SDK. Note from the editor, developers should actually use commands like npm install that are shown in the documentation when installing Velt SDK. Next, add another script tag with this function that determines what to do once Velt SDK is loaded. And the first thing we're gonna do there is initialize Velt with your API key. Not my API key, your API key. Don't steal my API key, bro. Next, we're gonna add a console log because that's the only form of debugging that I understand. After that, you create this if statement that executes once Velt is initialized. And in here, you're going to initialize your user or create your user. Not quite sure what the right term is, but you get it. I'm just using dummy data, but for all you real developers, this is where you would populate information of the actual user that is signed in. Now that you've hooked up the user data, add this line to identify the user, and we're on to the next step. Next, you need to set the document ID. A document is basically like a room in your app where all of the collaboration is happening. You can have different rooms or documents where people collaborate on different things. Because remember, Velt is an SDK for collaboration. And then add another console log, because that's what a 10x developer would do. And with that, we are done with the JavaScript. Thank God. Now to place the Velt components in the app. Go into the body tag, create a div with class container, and add the Velt recorder nodes component to it. Then create another div with the class toolbar inside the container div, and inside that one, add the Velt recorder tool and the Velt recorder control panel components. Add type all to the Velt recorder tool to enable all styles of recording, including audio, video, and screen recordings. Next, add another div with the Velt recorder player component because after making recordings, you're gonna want to be able to play them somewhere. And lastly, we add the most important component, a picture of Hello Kitty. And with that, you're done. Now, after you figure out how to get localhost working, your app will look like this. Remember, the goal was to implement Velt recording, not make a pretty app. And look at this smooth recording. You wouldn't believe that the marketing guy implemented this, and in less than 20 lines of code, but he did. Now imagine what you could do with Velt as a real developer. You could customize the components to match the look and feel of your app. Now excuse me, I have to go win a hackathon.